Hiya, and welcome back to Tiny Tina's Wonderland. Today we have even more hotfix patch notes, except these are some pretty big changes. Specifically, the biggest positive takeaway is that a lot of spells got buffed. Legendary spells specifically have gotten readjusted, reworked, and the whole 9 yards. Now, there are also some nerfs to certain classes, but largely it seems like it's more of like a synthetic nerf. Some spells don't seem like they're under firing, at least to me. It's descaled by like 2 points, which seems like nothing. But anyways, let's start at the top though. Essentially, this is probably the worst news I think out of the entire lot. The chaos cap is basically pushed to level 50, and we are finally at the end, which is ascended. So that's the positive. The positive is that we're finally done. We no longer will have any more chaos ranks, but we do have to grind a whole ass another 50 or whatever, a huge amount of chaos chambers. I really would have loved for them to do this and said, hey, you can just immediately run to the 50th tier and then prove yourself. That way you don't have to grind each individual one, because it is pointless, Gearbox, to do that. It's just a drag. It's just meandering. Horrible. It's horrible. It's terrible. This makes me feel like they're not listening, more or less, because that they should have absolutely added a, hey, skip to the difficulty in which you feel like you can achieve, and yeah, or even just go in sets of 5 instead of like 1 by 1 by 1. Each room passes. It's just blech. Especially when we have a new mirror to dig into, but I guess we don't because yeah. Ugh. Anyway, sorry. Don't mean to be too negative off the hop, but yes, we also have a new chaos chamber coming with new weapons and such. We covered that in the last video. Check that out if you haven't seen it. We also have, of course, Wonderlands coming to Steam if you haven't seen that as well. Also, the Wheel of Fate has gotten changed. Basically, you can see a lot more legendaries now, and it will drop the roulette table. Like, so say if it lands on guns, it will drop specifically a lot of guns. If it drops a lot of rings, then you've hit the ring roulette wheel point, I guess, which is nice. Yeah, now it drops 4 guaranteed pieces. Yeah, but that doesn't mean it's exclusively dropping only that thing that it hovers over. So it's just guaranteeing you at least 4 pieces of gear if whatever it drops out of, which is cosmetics, if it's guns, if it's rings, yeah. All right, I'll proceed to read through all these and tell you the noteworthy ones. They've buffed the chaos chamber, spawning more enemies. Nice. Ooh, gear now sorts correctly based on type. Yeah, type was useless. Please give us more sort. Give me sort by newly dropped into my inventory, please, Gearbox. Loot would occasionally drop over level cap. Apparently that's been fixed. Various UI improvements I've played today. Didn't really feel those, but okay. Still, things won't load in my bank and my inventory. Great. Anyway, the bad egg would give additionally unintended 35% bonus damage to all melee attacks. Ooh, yay, melee. Not good enough. Melee needed that nerf. Okay, anyways, neat. Also, there was a ring that basically the lower your magazine, the more damage you do. They fixed it. It wasn't working. Yeah. This is a big booba. Livewire got shifted around. Basically, they just toned down the Livewire buff that they gave it. But simultaneously, with the 12% nerf to the damage beam, they also gave you the consistent damage. So it doesn't matter if your magazine is low. So you can actually fire it, and it's always going to be performing at the highest possible level of the thread. You need to empty the magazine in order to get the most damage. So this now you just basically can use it as a normal gun, empty the magazine, melee zap, whatever you want to do. Hold down the trigger, whatever you want. And it came with a 12% nerf. Honestly, I think a net positive. So yeah, neat. Spell shots, imbue weapon skill was not stacking twice, I believe. Yes, failed to stack twice. Yes, and then we got a contagion nerf. Basically, was having the effect of like trickling off of a bunch of enemies and just stacking and infinitely jumping up and nuking things. So that got nerfed. That one doesn't make the most sense. Didn't seem like it was hurting anybody, but sure. Anyways, Blast Chill and Graveborn's Blast Gas were not scaling with investment into their specific attributes. So basically, if you had a lot of Berserker points, like 50 or something at max Primordial or whatever, you would think it said you were getting buffed with Blast Chill, but it actually wasn't. So now your investment is scaling. So if you have a high Graveborn scaling, Blast Gas was going to scale exponentially off of that, which is fantastic. These are already some of the best skills in the game. Awesome to see that they're working better now. None of this seems like too bad for like Graveborn tweaks. The Mushroom Companion had no loyalty and would target other Fate Maker's pings. That's awesome. Minigame continues where we're getting exponential more crystals. Fantastic from the Chaos Chambers. I didn't really feel this. at all. Like I was playing with it and I didn't feel like we got a bonus crystals at all. But anyways, so this week's featured run, this is really interesting. They basically polled the community and the net result was a whole ass featured run filled to the gills with mimics. All mimics in every room, that's it. Fight. Which is brutal. But yeah, and they did a poll at their Discord, so take note of that. Pretty neat. Again, there's a lot of stuff that I think is dividing us in a lot of ways in terms of like there's the new mirrors, there's the chaos chambers, there's the featured run, there's 50 more levels, or we have to get to the max level now again, and there's new legendaries. It's just like it's so much. I'm not sure if I want to do any of it, honestly. Yeah, so this was interesting. Parasite was not scaling properly off chaos levels, meaning Parasite was actually like under health. So now Parasite's a chunky boy. He's definitely a tough person, which makes it showcases for your builds and your damage for your builds really nice when it comes to seeing his resistances now. So he should be a good test dummy, I guess. And here's the best part of the update, in my opinion. But a lot of legendary spells, which is some of the funnest parts of Wonderland that I think people are still hanging on to. At least for me, I find it to be one of the most interesting aspects of the game, keeping me kind of hooked on playing. And essentially, they've rebuffed a lot of the legendary spells, specifically Barrel Maker's getting a 100% damage or status effect bonus, which is insane. The Dazzler is getting a cooldown reduction and also a 268% damage bonus. I think the Dazzler was already a really good like scatter shot kind of thing. This is awesome. Frozen orb damage increase. Frozen orb was already kind of an interesting thing. I wish it would have packed a punch because casting multiple of these is so satisfying. It's like these death orbs that just start cooking people with cryo. Hopefully this is enough to make it good because it was really bad. So here's hoping with enough investment into cryo, we can make that thing sing. Frost orb has an unknown issue where it fails to collide with some of the enemies. This will be fixed in the future update. Oh, okay. Okay. It fails to collide. Okay, so I guess it can just pass through. I thought that was the whole point of Frost Orb, that it was not supposed to impact. Maybe you can and it like explodes and does more damage. Interesting, neat. But that's something to look forward to. So if it's already good and it might get better in the future, neat. Gelatinous, the what do you call it? The like Jello cube bouncy thing. That's gonna 100% damage bonus. Also a bunch more status effect chance. Nice. As well as cooldown reduction to 9. Ooh, okay, that's actually huge. Especially if you can get 2 charges of this and cast both of them, that's pretty huge. Oh yes, Glacial Cascade got a damage buff of 30. Honestly, Glacial Cascade was already pretty damn good. One of the better legendaries that actually scaled well. I think it deserves probably this amount of damage or maybe more because it's strictly grounded, so you can't actually aim for enemies that are above you, which is a big amount of enemies actually, especially in Chaos Chambers. Laser Hand is getting the biggest damage buff that any out of all of them, 525%. This thing had it's basically like a hand cannon laser beam, kind of a sniper round shot. So the fact that this thing was not hitting hard was insane because it had a long cooldown. It needs to be hitting hard. The Reviver got an increased damage bonus. Nice. Seeker projectiles damage scaling increased by 100%. Okay. Interesting. I haven't never used a Reviver too much, but that's cool. Also, yeah, its cooldowns are decreased by 24%, so it's still a pretty hefty cooldown, but still. This, please tell me, yes, Saw Blades damage and a status effect chance. Ooh, increased by 100%. That's huge. Because Saw Blades were okay, but the fact that there is not only a status bonus, but also a damage bonus, and also we are getting a poison specific class in the next Chaos Chamber. Woo, that's awesome. That's probably gonna be really good for him. Oh my god, my baby, my time skip baby finally got buffed. Hell yes. I'm just first time I've seen this. We're aware of a bug that is calling time skip damage over time or causing damage over time to not apply properly. This will be fixed in the update. Hopefully that's not making it better or worse. Hopefully it's making it worse so it becomes better. But that's fantastic. Both of these are very, very fun, like one of the funnest legendary spells out there. So that's awesome to see. Threads of Fate is 50. Threads of Fate is good damage-wise. It's just on a large cooldown and seems kind of clunky because you can kind of miss. But if you're trying to melt a boss, it's not bad. Inflame Chain. Oh, they finally fixed this one. The Flamethrower spell finally got an increase by 3. Does this mean it actually has... But beforehand, the Flamethrower spell was consuming all of your charges at once, which I hope that's what that means. It's fixed. Also, Flamethrower's damage and stats effect damage is increased by 30%. Hell yes. We also got Twister damage increased by 10%. Twister was already one of the best spells in the game. If you hadn't used it with Graveborn Blast Gasp, it's insane. You just trigger that over and over and over again, and you just melt someone in 1 second. It's crazy. And lastly, ladies and gentlemen, this is the big thing here: the class adjustments to both Spell Shot and a buff to Clawbringer. So, simple TLDR, the only thing that's really changed about Spell Shot is essentially that Spell Stack Weaving is going from 10 to 8. I didn't really feel this to be too jeopardizing, especially considering how good Spell Shot stuff is. A 2% damage loss over the course. It's actually more than that, because yeah, it's cumulative, but still, I didn't find it to be like egregious. Also, Magic Bullet got a tweak, basically adjusting it to, instead of 15, it's 12. Again, I didn't really notice any of these being too like kneecapping. It's only a little bit of a notch down, which leads me to believe that this is more of a posturing idea of like, see, we're trying not to nerf things, but we also want people to understand that we're trying to make it so that it's more of a playing, like a fair playing field, because a lot of people hate Spellweaver, Spell Shot. They want us all to be unhappy, like all of them, which is unfortunate. Suffering is not the aim that we should all try to strive for. I want y'all to be strong, not for us to all be weak. Okay. Lastly, ladies and gentlemen, Clawbringer changes huge. Essentially, you're getting a 33% damage bonus. I think at this point they should really aim higher and miss than aim lower and piss off people, because this is the 4th time Clawbringer has been adjusted. I wish they would just fucking whip their wang out on the table at this point, but ultimately all of these are just buffs, essentially. The Clawbringer's base things. Get in game and see if it's going to be worth any sort of actual thing. I don't know, maybe. These ones seem nice. These are just pure damage bonus. This one seems like a utility perk, which sure. But fire damage ability, gun damage by 25, not bad. All these seemed okay. But ladies and gentlemen, that is basically it. Essentially, big takeaway is that some of the things got nerfed. Contagion builds kind of got nerfed. Livewire got more consistent, but a slight damage nerf. And there is a shit ton of spells that got reworked and buffed, which is fantastic. I cannot wait to make an update to my torrent build, which is going to be significantly easier now because of stuff that I'll tell you in the torrent build. I'm also going to give you guys all of these, the ones that I think are worth actually investing in and are okay. But yeah, hopefully you guys enjoy the rest of your day. Thank you so much for giving me a single second of your day. Hopefully I can see you in the next video with the next build, with the next Wonderlands chat, and hopefully you'll put up with me even then. Thank you kindly, and goodbye.